As the sun rises over the field of healing, the morning after the January full moon of 2021, it is a perfect moment to introduce the start of a year-long ceremony honouring the 13 clan mothers. The 13 Original Clan Mothers is a book by Jamie Sams, and the following hour is our tribute to her recent passing and our heartfelt thanks for her wisdom. It is also us passing on her wisdom to you as we start a year of honouring each clan mother at each full moon. It is our intention to share these events in the field of healing, and what follows is a taste of what we hope to share in person with you during the coming year. The clan mothers relate to the cycles of the moon. They teach us how to access and cultivate our own personal gifts and talents. Using archetypes, totems, myth and symbology through storytelling, the clan mothers take us on a discovery to a deeper understanding, not only of who we are as individuals, but also our beautiful earth and her inhabitants. Our first clan mother, who we celebrate today, is Talks with Relations. She will teach us how to understand the true essence of all we come into contact with, whether it be humans, animals, trees, stones, clouds, or even our elemental friends. Treat this story, the music and the drumming journey we are about to offer as an activation of knowledge and ancient wisdom. Honour yourself and what you're about to receive by preparing your own sacred space. So you can prepare and know what to expect. The hour will start with a music offering for you to relax into the space you have created. We will then read the story of Talks with Relations, which is just over 30 minutes. There will be a break for a few minutes halfway through for your comfort and to re-centre whilst listening to our music. Following the end of the story, there will be a card pulled from the sacred space that we have created, with the intention that the message is for each person listening. The theme of this card will then be used to take you on a short sacred drumming journey, so you will want to have with you a blanket and somewhere comfortable to sit or lay, and some water for afterwards. The session will end with another music offering with song and crystal bowl. Myself, Sarah, Lindsay and Julia send this offering with our deepest love and blessings. And our intention is that you receive the same insight and wisdom that we experienced when we followed this same ceremony each month during the year of 2020. Namaste.
When the rain falls down from the cloudy sky, that's the Father healing the Mother. When the green things grow and the rivers flow, that's the Mother healing the Father. And the Mother needs the Father to be green, green, green. And the Father needs the Mother to be born. And the sister needs her brother like a baby needs its mother. And we all need each other to be whole. Shri Radhe, Radhe Govinda, Jai Radhe, Radhe Gopal. Shri Radhe, Radhe Govinda, Jai Radhe, Radhe Gopal. Shri Radhe, Radhe Govinda, Jai Radhe, Radhe Gopal. side. That's the Father healing the mother. When the green things grow and the rivers flow, that's the mother healing the father. And the mother needs the father to be green, green, green. And the father needs the mother to be born. And the sister needs her brother like a baby needs its mother. And we all need each other to be whole.
Talks with relations. Mother of Nature talks with her kin. Stone person, wildflower, and wolf are her friend. Weaving the rhythms of the seasons, she rides the winds of change, opening her heart with gladness, a shelter from hunger and pain. Guardian of the needs of the earth, making relatives great and small. Mother, I see you in the dewdrop, I hear you in the eagle's call. Chapter 1. Clan Mother of the First Moon Cycle. Talks with Relations is the clan mother of the first moon cycle and is the keeper of learning the truth. This cycle of truth falls in January and is understood through finding kinship with all life. Talks with Relations teachers are the allies of nature, the four winds of change, the cloud people, the thunder beings, the creature beings, the tree people, the plant people, the little people, the devas and fairies, the stone people, the clan chiefs of air, earth, water and fire, as well as all other life forms. These relatives of our planetary family are our teachers as well. Through Talks with Relations, the Mother of Nature, we learn that we are relatives in the planetary family. The tree people, creature teachers, stone people, cloud people, and all other life forms are our sisters and brothers. Our aunts and uncles are the four clan chiefs of air, earth, water and fire. Our mother is the earth, our father is the sky, and our grandparents are grandmother moon and grandfather sun. To learn the truth, we must open ourselves to the vast worlds within worlds that make up the great mysteries creation. Talks with Relations is the aspect of the Earth Mother that contains a seeking mind, a willingness to learn, and an understanding of the rhythm of each life form or area of Earth being viewed. This first clan mother cycle is protected by the colour orange. Orange carries the medicine of kinship with all life, because it is the colour of the eternal flame of love that the great mystery placed in the hearts of every part of creation. Any time we find a feather, a stone, a flower or a shell with a colour orange in it, the lessons that sister or brother can teach us are the lessons of making relatives, right relationship, respect and or kinship with all life. Through learning the truths found in every life form within the planetary family, we are given the opportunity to see the similarities between us. We may find that a flower or a brook can become one of our greatest teachers. When we accept that everything in our world is alive, we are able to access the parts of ourselves that have become numbed or deadened in order to heal and revive our own aliveness. Kinship speaks of having right relationships with the creative force, with the self, with our arrendas or spiritual essences, with our bodies, with family, friends, worthy opponents, and with all our relations in every part of the natural world. These relationships can become loving, productive situations that offer us opportunities to exchange ideas and to learn the lessons of sharing with unity in order to grow in truth. Talks with Relations is the mother of nature who welcomes all life forms into her clan. She sees the beauty of each and honours the talents each holds. She is the keeper of rhythm who teaches us how to find our own rhythm, as well as teaching us how to respect the rhythms of all other things. In learning the truth, we find that every life form has a sacred space and a rhythm. To enter those sacred spaces, we are forced to learn the rhythm of the life form in question. If we learn that rhythm and ask permission with respect, we can enter the world of those sisters and brothers without disturbing the natural order. Talks with Relations teaches us those rhythms and how wild creatures are willing to accept some humans without fear and why they run from others. The acceptance or non-acceptance results from the human's intent, willingness to respect the rhythm and sacred space of the creature being, and or willingness to learn the truth about that life form. Talks with Relations is the guardian of weather and the seasons, who sees to the needs of the earth. This clan mother understands how to use the clan chiefs of air, earth, water and fire to produce the climatic balance necessary for global survival. She teaches human beings that messing with the forces of the elements is a tricky thing because every action contains a reaction. The results may not be readily apparent, but they will surely affect the balance of the Earth Mother's intricate ecology. If a human being is going to call for water as a rain medicine person, that human had best be mindful of the amount the soil can handle and how the rain will affect the life forms downstream. Talks with Relations is the keeper of these mysteries and always urges caution so that the rhythms of life can be maintained.
The making of relatives. Talks with Relations marvelled at the luxurious green of the Earth Mother's verdant forests and valleys. The great ice mountains had not yet travelled this far south, and so parts of the only landmass, Turtle Island, were given a short reprieve. Life was teeming amid the nooks and crannies of every inch of the sunlit soil and plant growth that spread before her. She stretched and raised her arm to the light of Grandfather's sun. "Oh, what a pleasure it is to be alive," she whispered to herself. Just then a movement, sly and barely perceptible, caught her attention. She slowed her breathing and squatted low in the sprawling bunch of wild irises and tall cattails at her feet. Not daring to make a sound, she stilled herself until her body gave off no perceivable rhythm of its own. She did not want to disturb the natural occupants of this forest glen, or to keep them from their daily routines, which would eventually bring them to the brook that ran far to the left of her hiding place. She was content to wait and see if the creature had created the rustle in the undergrowth would show itself. It was not long until a tiny red fox peeked around the boulder resting at the side of the bubbling brook and dashed for the water's edge, took a quick drink and then dashed back to safety. After deciding it must be safe, despite the strange smell that wafted in and out with the changing breeze, the fox returned. As the little fellow drank from the stream, he occasionally peered around to assure himself that his senses were not fooling him into complacency. Suddenly, he was so startled that he became paralysed when he found himself looking into the kindest eyes he had ever seen. The eyes seemed to be attached to a two-legged human. "Greetings, Brother Fox," Talks with Relations said gently. I trust that I did not frighten you. Fox forgot himself and replied spontaneously, I thought I was the one who was so expert at the art of camouflage. You ought to be a fox, not a two-legged. How did you do it? Oh, you don't have to answer that. I already know how, because I do it myself. Well, Fox, it may surprise you to know that I have walked the earth for many suns and many sleeps, getting to know all my relations, she replied. It is important for me to learn the ways of all my children because I am mother of nature, and I must learn the needs of every creature, plant person, stone person, so I may serve my family in a good way. Fox looked at Talks with Relations and saw she was telling the truth. He began to wonder how this beautiful and generous two-legged had happened to choose him to talk to, but he was afraid to ask. He was taken aback when her laughter filled the glen with the most melodic, song-like sounds that he had ever heard. Oh, Fox, she said, you are a master of invisibility, but have you forgotten to mask your thoughts? Don't you know that I have learned the truth held in the hearts and minds of every living thing? You need not be afraid to ask me anything. Grouse taught me how to enter the sacred spiral of rhythm in order to be in harmony with all of my children. In learning the truth about rhythms, I have been able to weave our thoughts and hearts together so there is no separation between us. At that moment, Centipede came scampering down a log that had fallen across the brook in the last big rain. Her multitude of legs, rhythmically moving in time, suddenly seemed to trip upon one another as she tried valiantly to come to a halt in front of Talks with Relations. Her long back arched as she pulled up to a stop, with her rear end curling up like a dry autumn leaf before finally coming to a halt. My goodness, she whispered, nearly out of breath. I thought I heard your sweet laughter, Mother. I'd know that musical sound anywhere. What a pleasant surprise. Fox looked from Talks with Relations to Centipede, wondering how they knew one another. Then he decided he had better sit down on the boulder by the brook to sun himself. It appeared that this reunion would probably take a while, and his feet had begun getting cold while he was standing in the water listening to Talks with Relations. Centipede, it has been many long moons since we have spoken. I must thank you for teaching me how to find my body's centre and stride. The long walks to the sea and to the plains took many suns and sleeps, but my arms and legs were working in harmony. It felt wonderful with every body part working in rhythm with the other. We can both remember what a mess of arms and legs, tripping over every pebble and scraping every bush, can't we? Talks with Relations said. Centipede giggled and replied, Well, I was so happy to see you again. I nearly rolled down this cotton wool log. I forgot my own medicine too. When I get excited, it just happens. I keep on growing extra legs in my old age, and I seem to have to teach the new ones how to work in unison with the old ones over and over again. Talks with Relations smiled and said, "I certainly understand how you feel, Manylegs. Setting up the rhythms of the seasons has been a task as well. The Earth Mother is still changing her path in the Sky Nation, and the green moons of new sprouting grasses are growing shorter, while the white moons seem to grow longer with more snow and ice." Fox spoke up and asked, "Is that why so many of the creature beings of the steppes are coming our way?" Centipede nodded, and Talks with Relations agreed. "You see, Fox, the Earth Mother has given me the task of learning about the needs of all the Earth tribe, so I may assist her in finding the correct paths for the Sky Nation. Eventually, there will be 4 seasons and 4 winds of change that will assist all of us in finding the rhythms of harmony. The 3 white moons will give us a time of rest when the ice beings will come and cover the soil. Then the green moons will begin for 3 cycles, bringing new life to the plant people. And then the 3 yellow moons will bring a time of ripening and fullness. The 3 red moons will follow, bringing the time of harvest. The 13th moon is the blue moon, when all the children of Earth will find their natural ability to change or transform." Centipede sighed and smiled. "It will be a good thing to see, Mother, and all of us will give thanks for the work you are doing on our behalf." Talks with Relations was pleased that she was learning the truth of how to fulfill the needs of all the children of Earth and how to understand their medicines. Life was good, and each new day brought lessons to be learned, new truths to explore, and new rhythms to add to the whole. She was discovering that she made every living thing her relative when she entered the flow of each relation's rhythms and listened to the inner drum of the heartbeats of each. Her mind flew to the memory of how she had first learned that lesson. As Grandfather Sun's light sent warm orange beams through her closed eyelids, she drifted to that long ago moon and saw Swan drifting across a high mountain lake.
Above and below and all around you are. Above and below and all around you are. You are the essence of all the love of my life. You are the essence of all the beauty of life. Sacred one, source within and beyond. Sacred one, source within and beyond. Above and below and all around you are. Above and below and all around you are. You are the essence of all the love of my life. You are the essence of all the beauty of life. Sacred one, source within and beyond. Sacred one, source within and beyond. sun had been unusually warm. Talks with Relations had been speaking with Blue Jay, who was teaching her the medicines and talents of the Standing People. Blue Jay was not talking for the trees, because the Standing People could talk. Talks with Relations had asked Blue Jay to come with her because his medicine was using intuition to speak the truth. And in those early days, she was just learning how to use her human body to sense things. Being a little unsure of her new skill, she had asked Blue Jay to accompany her. For hours, the two friends had sat with the Standing People, listening, as the wind chief gently blew through the limbs of the trees, bringing their voices to life. Talks with Relations had first experienced human frustration during that sun. She was able to understand the medicine of Aspen, who was the seer and carried observer. Because her own eyes could see the eye-like forms in Aspen's trunk, every place a branch had disconnected and fallen, she was able to feel the medicine of inner peace when she sat with her back against Pine's sturdy trunk. She felt Dogwood's medicine of balance when she saw the blossoms, which formed the 4 directions of the sacred hoop. But her intuition was failing her in hearing and understanding the languages of these standing relations. Blue Jay was very kind to Talks with Relations and called for a break in the lessons. He could see that her frustration was bringing her close to tears. How very human she is, and yet how very inhuman in her willingness to treat all things with such respect, he thought to himself. I am not afraid to speak the truth to her because she wants to learn the truth more than anything else. My intuition tells me she must also learn the importance of resting when her body's rhythms are being pushed beyond their capacity to endure. It must be difficult for her, no longer being in spirit form and having to limit herself to the perceptions of a human body. Blue Jay took Talks with Relations down the hill to the lake and had her sit in the sand along the shoreline, where clumps of soft green grass stood like hillocks meant for napping. While she settled her body on a grass-covered rise, Blue Jay told her that he was going to bring a friend to join them and that she should relax while he was gone. Talks with Relations was so caught up in her own frustration that she did not hear Blue Jay's message, and so her mind kept on whirling with thoughts of how she could learn the language of the Standing People. She didn't even notice when Blue Jay returned with his friend Swan. Swan had glided effortlessly across the lake and was floating gently near the water's edge, patiently waiting. Blue Jay finally started squawking a long tirade of admonitions in order to get Talks with Relations' attention. Well, Swan, we could push her in the lake to wash the frustration out of her head, or we could call Ostrich to dig a hole in this sand, and then the 3 of us could bury her head. He screeched, but still there was no reaction from Talks with Relations. Blue Jay saw Ostrich down the shoreline and called to her. While she was trotting over, he continued his mocking monologue. Well, here comes Ostrich. You will be shown how to bury your head in the sand instead of burying it in needless frustrations, Blue Jay said loud enough for Ostrich to hear. Talks with Relations was still lost in her turbulent thoughts when Ostrich sauntered up and shrugged her shoulders, wondering what to make of this young, troubled woman. Swan waited patiently, while Ostrich and Blue Jay decided to get the woman's attention. After a conspiratorial giggle, Blue Jay went to rest on a nearby piece of driftwood, and Ostrich bent over and tweaked Talks with Relations' nose. Talks with Relations was so startled she cried out, not from pain, for Ostrich had been very gentle, but from the shock of suddenly seeing 2 of the largest heavy-lidded eyes she had ever encountered at close range. Everyone was laughing uncontrollably, except for Talks Relations, who was stunned into silence. Blue Jay commented that she must have been tied up by her own machinations. Swan replied that Ostrich, whose medicine was how to interact with others through communication, could lend a helping wing now that they had Talks with Relations' attention. Each comment brought further peals of laughter until the young woman saw the ridiculousness of the situation and joined in herself. In between rolling waves of guffaws, Ostrich explained to Talks with Relations that when others were not communicating clearly or interacting in a way that would include everyone, Ostrich also had a tendency to bury her head. When even one person was excluded from a group, Ostrich would imitate those refusing to listen to everyone's ideas by burying her head in the sand until someone noticed. They usually noticed when they were confronted with Ostrich's rear end sticking in the air, giving them an idea of what she thought of them. In the present situation, Ostrich had not needed to bury her head because Talks with Relations had already buried her own head in her frustrations. The laughter had definitely changed the mood of the afternoon, and Talks with Relations was now refreshed and paying attention instead of wondering why human limitations seemed to curtail her natural abilities to simply know. She was learning the lessons of how to use human senses, and the laughter felt good as it rolled from her lips and made her belly jiggle. Her heart was feeling the warmth of friendship, and her skin was tingling from the spray of water Swan's wings had stirred up during the excitement. She decided that it was good to feel the pleasures of a body, and was happy to be alive. Ostrich and Blue Jay watched silently as Swan spoke to Talks with Relations in a soothing way, gently sliding across the glossy water, creating another change in mood. You see how my body curves and my neck slopes and undulates when I move across the water? She asked. Talks with Relations nodded in agreement as Swan continued. The water spirits do not resist the movement of my body. They assist me in feeling the flow of their currents as well as my own. Watch me glide into the lake and watch the gracefulness of my neck as I show you the water dance. Talks with Relations' body began to be lulled into the same rhythm as Swan's as she watched. It seemed as if a small breeze had brought the lapping waves of the water spirits into Talks with Relations' body. She began to drift and dream as the hypnotic movements of Swan's body taught her to surrender. When she awoke, she understood how she could learn the languages of all living things. She could do more than observe and feel from her own viewpoint. She had learnt how to surrender her own sacred space and sacred point of view, how to ask permission, and when it was received, how to enter the sacred space of another and to learn their language. She was excited as she relayed her dreamtime experiences to Swan, Blue Jay and Ostrich. In her dream she had flown with Falcon, learned his medicine of hunting for solutions. Falcon had taken her deep into the jungles of Turtle Island and had shown her the streaming green realms of dense vegetation. There the Earth Mother mirrored the stream of smoky human confusions and frustrations. Together they had flown through the foggy confusion of the dream until they could see clearly. The snow sparkled on faraway peaks as they had viewed the mountain tops of the jungle below, where the great apes lived among the highlands of dense growth. Gorilla was the wordless storyteller who acted out and mimicked until the observer could see the solution or point of the story for himself or herself. In the dream, Talks with Relations had watched Gorilla while she circled with Falcon, seeing the mind from all directions. It was not long before Gorilla's strong medicine of communication and teaching through actions had brought understanding to Talks with Relations' heart. His movements had been funny at first, until she had understood how he was teaching the others of his tribe to accomplish a given task. It was then that she noticed that he had imitated a younger ape in order to get its attention, then made a game of it so that the youngster would imitate him. It became clear to her that Falcon had showed her a solution to her problem. She didn't need to feel that she was separated from other life forms because she had a human body. She could imitate their habits and see how it felt to be them. Through imitating the actions of her creature teachers, she could then surrender to the feelings she had when becoming like them. It didn't matter that her teachers were plants, stones, animals, clouds, or wind and water spirits. Understanding their languages would take time, but the more like them she became, and the more she could understand how and why their lives were similar to her own, the easier it would become for her to know how each species choose to communicate. Ostrich, blue jay and swan were very happy that talks of relations had broken through the frustration and into understanding. The foursome retreated to the soft shadows of the forest, with talks of relations leading the way. She was determined to use her newly found understanding to communicate with her tree relations. Until now she had merely observed and tried to listen as the wind spirits moved gently through the emerald and jade boughs of the standing people. Now it was time to practice and develop her communication skills. With all her friends settled around her, she began to announce her intention. I have learnt how to surrender to the rhythms of the sacred space around me, and now, with permission, I would like to become like a standing person, she said. The ancient pine tree person dropped a pine cone that rolled to her feet as an offering of friendship. She accepted this giveaway with pleasure. Talks with relations knelt and dug a hole in the soft soil and needles, burying her feet up to the ankles. Then she stood tall and proud and lifted her arms like branches to the rays of sunlight, filtering through the dense green of the forest. Silence enveloped all of those gathered as she closed her eyes and became a human tree. It was then that she heard the voices of the standing people come from their wooden hearts and speak to hers. Our language is heard through the heart, not the ears. We speak of all we see in a place, for we are the silent observers of the earth. Our roots draw deeply from the well of love found in our Earth Mother's soil, and our limbs reach higher every day to seek the light of Grandfather Sun. We are the living balance between Mother Earth and Father Sky, female and male, receiving and giving. Of all life forms, we are the closest in makeup to the human beings, because we show them how to honour the balance of heaven and earth within themselves. We show them through example how to be the silent observers of life, how to stand tall, and how to give and receive. Though nothing stirred in the forest, no breeze blew through the boughs of these tree people, Talks with Relations heard the voice of ancient redwood. It pointed out to her that with the arms arched upward, her body created two circles. The circles formed a figure 8. The upper circle met the lower circle in her heart, with the upper one encircling the Sky Nation, and the lower one connecting her to the centre of the Earth Mother. It was as if she were standing on top of one circle and holding the other one above her, using her body as a cross connection between the two. These are the two medicine wheels of life, Redwood said. The human beings, like the tree people, have the ability to be the balance between the earth and sky. When the two-leggeds reach for the most that they can be, the sky wheel brings the messages of the spirit world to them through their human hearts. The earth wheel allows the plants, stones, animals and elements of nature to be the Earth Mother's teachers and interpreters of those spiritual messages. Human beings feel and understand the messages that the Great Mystery sends by observing the actions of the teachers that these planetary counterparts represent. Meeting in the heart, both medicine wheels show that heaven and earth, the spiritual and the tangible, are equal and are one. You see, Talks with Relations, the only true limitation of being human, comes when the heart is closed. When the heart is open, all of creation can be accessed and understood. You have become that balance, and now it will serve you well.
The memory of that time and the lessons learned filled the Mother of Nature's body with a warm feeling, gently bringing her back to the moment. The orange glow that had reflected Grandfather Sun's light on her eyelids had changed to a deeper salmon colour, signalling that this sun was nearly at its end. She could hear the trout jumping for flies in the melodious brook. She could smell the first wafts of night blooming jasmine, and she tasted the moisture that was collecting on the stones at the water's edge. Inside her mind, pictures of these changes were dancing with hundreds of other perceptions. She could hear the faint snore of fox who had fallen asleep, and the scratching of centipede's many legs against the cottonwood trunk. Yes, she thought, I have learned well. Truth speaks to me now in hundreds of ways, through all the senses of body, heart, mind and spirit. I can feel the rhythms of the animals' feet through the soil as they approach the water for their evening drink. I can feel the light of stars even before they poke holes in the purple blanket of the early evening sky. Life sends me flutters of feeling deep in my belly with every rhythmic change around me, and I feel those changes inside of me, for I am an extension of it all. With her eyes still closed, Talks with Relations gently and quietly reached for the stone person she had hanging around her neck by a thong. The rock had a natural hole in it that had been created for the constant dripping of water over hundreds of passing suns and sleeps. The stone person's name was Onio, or Song. This special medicine stone still sang to her and recorded all her heart felt and all she experienced, reminding her of the history she was creating by being alive. The natural hole in Onio's body was the sign that the rock was a protection stone. Because the hole was created by water, the stone helped Talks with Relations to stay in touch with her feelings and to be aware if danger was present. Talks with Relations' body was made of the same minerals as the rock and therefore helped her stay in tune with the heartbeat of the Earth Mother. The stone people, being the libraries of Earth history, had been very helpful when she had learned their language. Through her journeys she had come to understand the markings on their bodies in as much the same manner she had learned the languages of the standing people. Through the stone people she had come to understand that all forces in nature have cycles, and that these cycles are present in the growth of all things. She had been able to review the history of all that happened on Earth, and she was shown the natural evolution of all life forms as the stones had recorded it. The shell cousins from the sea had taught her to listen to the rhythms of the tides and to her own body's cycles. The cloud people had shown her the faces and forms of all things in the natural world. When one of the various children of Earth was in danger, the face of the one who called for help would take form in the clouds. The clan chiefs of air, earth, water and fire had blended and separated in her presence to teach her the spontaneous forces of creation found in nature. With this knowing system firmly rooted in her heart, Talks with Relations was able to command the weather, bringing life-giving rains or new lava flows to maintain the balance needed on the planet. Learning the truth is a continuous adventure and brings with it a constant source of fulfilment, she mused. I have been blessed with the hunger to learn, the joy of discovery, and the desire to serve my kin. I have learned the languages of every part of the Earth tribe. Each day I discover the caring and compassion that allows me to learn more. Life creates more life, and so I will continue to celebrate the lessons I have learned in order to share them with all my children forever. Talks with Relations opened her eyes and saw that day had quietly passed the pipe to night. The starry medicine bowl of the night sky had produced a quarter moon, and the nocturnal animals were stirring. Centipede and Fox had faithfully waited for Talks with Relations to return from entering the silence, not moving an inch from their former places. Grandmother Moon's blue-silver light played on the crests of the water that flowed across the rounded stones of the creek bed, while the water spirits murmured their evening travelling song. When Talks with Relations spoke to her friends, she whispered, "I am pleased that you waited for me, children. During my silence, I remembered how much I have learned about the truths present in every part of creation, and how much more I can learn as the world continues to evolve." Centipede curled herself into a ball and rolled down the log to be closer to Talks with Relations. "Mother, maybe your gathering wisdom is similar to my growing legs," she whispered. "I may be growing extra legs because I am becoming older and wiser. I suppose that each of our relations has some way to measure the distance they travel on this good red road of life." Talks with Relations replied, "Yes, Manylegs, we all have our unique ways to gather wisdom, but the way we share our languages and our understanding is the key to our common growth as a planetary family." Fox laughed and wiggled his whiskers before he interjected, "I understand that key, Mother. Fox is the protector of the planetary family because no one can learn the medicines and languages of nature if they can't see what is right in front of them. All wisdom is camouflage like me, unless people believe in the invisible world, which only becomes visible when they open their hearts to understanding and learning the truth." The clan mother of the first moon cycle smiled. Being the mother of nature meant that she would follow whatever came to her naturally. At this moment her heart was so full that it was natural to allow the love in her heart to spill over into the world, allowing all of the children of Earth to know that they were not forgotten and that their needs would always be taken care of. Talks with Relations had learned the truth about being in a human body, and now it was up to her human children to discover it for themselves. When each individual two-legged opened his or her heart to learning the truth of the planetary family, she would be there to teach them. When the human tribe opened their hearts with respect for all living things, she would be there to nurture them into respecting themselves and each other in kind. When the cycles and seasons brought pain to the human race, she would be the healing unguent found in the natural world around them. The intangible world of spirit found in the tangible world was awaiting discovery. Her human children would be the last to learn these truths. She found joy in the knowledge that human arrogance would one day melt away, that sun would rise when the cycles and seasons brought those who were willing to give up their pain home to their hearts. "Yes, life is good," she whispered into the star-filled night, just loud enough for those with open hearts to hear.
We're now going to have a look at the cards that are laid before us on the floor here. And so that we know the purpose of the journey, I'm going to choose a card, and then whatever the card's information is, that's going to be the intention that will be set for taking the journey. And I'm going to be working from this book, which is Messages from Your Animal Spirits, which is the circle of cards that are on the inner area. Okay, so I've been drawn to this card. This card, a ladybug, but of course we call them ladybirds. At this time of good fortune and abundance, this is a time of great abundance. So it's about being willing to receive all good things in your life. So we're going to work with thinking about the abundance that we have within us and around us, and feeling of gratitude for that abundance in whatever way it comes, in whatever way we feel we want to focus on that abundance. We'll just allow it to happen. So just take a moment now and just close your eyes and just appreciate what abundance means to you, how you experience abundance in your life, how you share that abundance with others. I'm just going to read from this book the description. This is an auspicious time for you, one that is extraordinarily powerful. You'll find that everything goes very smoothly with little effort on your part. Your thoughts will be manifesting much more quickly, so be observant and careful about what you're thinking. If you lapse into thinking about what you lack or what's missing, remind yourself of all the good things in life, your food, your shelter, your loved ones, or even the gift of life itself. for which, of course, you are grateful. Gratitude is the key to continually receiving good fortune, joy and abundance. Be willing not only to ask for, but also to graciously receive and accept all that comes your way. So ask for whatever you want. Then imagine already having it, that which you have requested. Can you feel what it's like when you think of having it already? Notice any conditioned or habitual thought patterns that may interfere with your acceptance of what you're asking for. If this happens, return your attention to the thoughts of gratitude. In fact, express your thankfulness as if it has already manifested, and continue to monitor any thinking that would otherwise block you from receiving. If you ask for something and then negate it with your insurmountable disbelief, the result you get will be the same as if you hadn't asked at all. So ask and be willing to receive. So now think about what you would like to experience on this journey. Think about the gifts that you already have in your life and the new gifts you'd like to receive. And I'd just like to take a moment now to pause so that you can make sure you're comfortable. You switch off anything that may disturb you, and you make sure that you have water by your side. Take a moment now to prepare yourself. Okay everyone, so hopefully you're ready to do this journey. It's important that you find somewhere comfortable to sit or to lie down. Make yourself a real cozy little nest. So if you need to have pillows under your head or under your knees, then do so. Make sure that you have a nice warm blanket nearby. And make sure that you feel really, really comfortable. This is your journey, this is your time. And we've thought about the intention that we want to set. So let's just go back again to that thought, the concept, the idea of this abundance. The abundance in the world, the beauty in the world, the abundance within you, and the gifts that that abundance brings into your life. And now ask that question of yourself. What would you really, truly, from your heart, like to receive? Now set that intention in your mind. Lie down, sit quietly, and just start to relax. Just notice the support that you feel where you are, the chair, the floor. You are completely supported, and you are starting to feel more and more relaxed. Taking a lovely deep breath in and releasing. And now I'm just going to gently start drumming. And the sound of the drumming will take you deeper and deeper within. Just noticing your breath, taking those lovely deep steady breaths in and out, and allowing the sounds around you to just take you deeper and deeper within. And just relaxing as you go. It feels so good to relax. You're feeling warm and comfortable. This gentle rhythm of the drum taking you deeper and deeper within. And now every breath that you take helps you to go deeper and deeper within. Every sound that you hear just takes you deeper, going into that beautiful place within you, that special place. Imagine what it's like. holds that special place for you, where it is peaceful, where you are completely safe. You feel nurtured. It is ready there waiting to welcome you. Look around you now and notice that there is a pathway just up ahead of you. And now you want to take that pathway. You know that at the end of that pathway is that beautiful place within you, your special place, that cave, the beauty of you, the womb of your life, the womb of all life, that beautiful womb of Mother Earth. She awaits your return. And now you see it. Now you want to step forward. You quicken your pace. And there it is before you. There is the entranceway. And you are so excited and so relieved that you have found it. And you know that as you step through the doorway, through the threshold, there is great beauty and love waiting for you. So now you are within this beautiful place, the cave, the womb of Mother Earth. And notice, where is it that you want to settle? Is there a chair? Is there a bed? Or is there a nest? Whatever is there, go towards it and make yourself comfortable. Know that in this safe place, this beautiful, loving, warm space that you are now within, that everything is possible. And like the beautiful ladybug, as the Americans would say, she brought her message of abundance, of joy, of receiving. Take a moment now and know it is now your time to have that, to receive those gifts, whatever they may be. I'm going to let you be now. I am going to leave you for a while, so you may explore this beautiful place and receive your beautiful gift. And when I return, when you hear my voice again once more, it will be time to give your thanks, to feel your gratitude, and you know it will be time to leave. So now I will allow you to spend that time within this space. as you hear the sound of my voice, it is time to return. Become aware of the sounds and the sights within you. It is time now to give thanks and to embrace the gift that you have received, whatever it may be. And now it is time to leave this beautiful place, knowing that you can return anytime you wish to. So we give thanks to the cave, to this place. We stand up and stretch and start to move our body back along the pathway. Wave goodbye to this beautiful place where we can return whenever we wish. And now we are excited. We're ready to return. We want to know. We want to explore more of our amazing life. So we walk happily along the path, returning to the place where our body lies, relaxed and peaceful. Coming back now, coming back into your body, aware of where your body is, whether you are sitting on a chair or lying on the ground, taking a nice deep breath, becoming more and more awake, wide awake now. Have a wonderful stretch. Just take a moment. Feel that peacefulness now. You're back in the room. You're awake again. You know your gift. If you need to write down what you have experienced, then you may do so, or you can record it onto your phone. Allow yourself to stretch and feel refreshed and at peace. You are back fully now in the room, wide awake, feeling amazing. It's time now to have a drink of water and say thank you.